some contact between George Alexander. He's going to get turned sideways off of turn 4 of the field, stacking up. Some contact there. Hudson Sharp in the 33 making some contact. Another car with some damage. That is the 30. And I believe that is the 30 of Chris Huntoon. Is that Huntoon right here at start finish? Wow, stacking them up on the restart.
That's actually the 30 that was started deep in the field. Rich Levance. So, unfortunate break for some of the competitors toward the back because the 63, when it got sideways, George Alexander came down the banking and Levance had nowhere to go. Not major damage, but probably some suspension issues on the cars that were involved.
We definitely see Levance here at start-finish with some left front suspension issues in addition to the damage that you see to the nose of that automobile. George Alexander had some damage to the right side of that car. I think Hudson Sharp, I believe, is going to come away from that not too bad, all things considered. He has tagged on at the tail end of the field, but boy, everybody scattering off of turn 4 as we came to complete the first lap back after that first restart of the day. And Rich Levance coming out on the short end of the stick of that one.
Don't believe we got a full lap in since the restart, so most likely we'll be still at 14 laps in the books. It is still 14 in the books. And with that, we will be back with more right here from New Smyrna, the World Series, after this. truck stuck.
Welcome back to the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, the Sportsman feature in the books. We've only got 39 more features to go this week at the 58th running of the World Series. Adam Briggs was the winner of the Sportsman event, 35-lap event that he was able to hold off Derek Griffith, which is no small feat. I don't know what size shoe he wears, but it's no small feat.
I'll tell you what, it might show that he led all 35 laps. He did not have an easy go. Derek Griffith literally threw the kitchen sink at him in that race, and Adam was able to hold him off. So he very well positioned to not only go back-to-back this week, he also won the 50-lap special event for the Sportsman division last year. So he's well positioned to make it 2 in a row in the big 50-lap Sportsman special event here at New Smyrna. So Adam Briggs kicking off the week in style, picking up the first win of the week.
One division we're going to talk a lot about this week, the super late models, the David Rogers super late model division. Biggest field of cars we had since 2015. And that's when we had 35 start the race. We had a huge field in practice and qualifying, and a lot of them looking forward to some of the big events. Of course, the Orange Blossom coming up next Saturday. That's always on the final night of the World Series. But that Tuesday night show with the ASA Stars National Tour at $15,000 to win Clyde Hart Memorial, that's going to be a big one, and a lot of guys coming out early to race the first couple nights leading up to it for track time, and they may end up staying all week.
It is going to be very critical for a lot of these drivers and teams to get as many laps as they can leading into that big Clyde Hart Memorial 200 coming up on Tuesday. And I know I bumped into the Nasons at the grocery store last night, and that's exactly what their plan is. They said, we might not come and race, and I guarantee you they will race hard tonight when they go take the green flag. But their goal isn't necessarily to go up there and fight for the win tonight. It's to get laps and get experience and get a notebook built so they can come and fight for that win on Tuesday night.
35-lap feature event for the super late models. One of those short sprints, just like we have for all of our divisions tonight. Short distance affairs here on night one. We'll start to get into some of our specials, like with the Sportsman tomorrow night when they run 50 laps here at New Smyrna Speedway. Charlie Carl, Adam Mackey in the booth calling the action here on Flow. We've got Jesse Punch down in the pits and in Victory Lane tonight. There's our schedule of what remains this evening. Super late models next. A short intermission, then we go pro late model racing, Florida Modifieds, and the Bomber A's.
The much anticipated Bomber A nightcap coming up tonight. That race should be pretty wild. Hope you can stick with us all night long and bring that one in. 24-second, what do you call that? A lockout time, I guess is what it is. If you go 23.99 seconds, they bring you down pit road. It's going to be wild. I can't wait.
Do not go too fast in that race. You want to go fast, but not that fast.
Not too fast. And you don't have any way of telling how fast you're going. That's the best part as the field does roll off here. 33 cars ready to take the green flag here tonight in our super late model 35-lap lid lifter for the David Rogers super late models. And Adam, this is the division again. You talk about the cars that you and I grew up watching and really have a passion for this division of race car all across the country, and it's seen a bit of a resurgence here in the last 18 to 24 months.
It has. It definitely has. I think some of that is the ASA Stars National Tour, those 10 races that they have at many of the popular events and facilities throughout the U.S. And it was in its first season last year. We're going to get to see the season opener for season number 2 coming up on Tuesday night as part of the Clyde Hart Memorial on that night of racing here at New Smyrna Speedway. You see the super late models that have rolled onto the raceway, and here's a look at the starting lineup. We'll start with row number 1. Nicholas Noggle qualified into the top 7. The invert tonight was a 7, putting Noggle on the front row. Jet Nolan starting alongside. Row number 2, Bubba Pollard joining us for the first night of the World Series. I think you're going to see a lot of that number 26 car racing maybe for the championship of the World Series. And Connor Jones, young man, starting in 4th in car 44.
A lot of excitement there in row 2. Keep an eye on both of those cars. How about this guy? Brent Cruz picked up a big win in the Red Eye 50 here last week. He's going to roll off P5 tonight alongside his teammate Giovanni Ruggiero in the number 22 car. Both of those cars out of the Donnie Wilson Racing stable. Defending ARCA Menards East champion William Sawalich driving for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. He was the quick qualifier tonight. He will start 7th alongside him, Dawson Smith. in the number 26.
Michael Hind will start in the 9th position. Driver from Hernando, Florida, former winner of the Pro Late Model portion of Speed Fest. Gus Dean, longtime ARCA racer. We've seen him in trucks and some other top tier. He always likes to make his appearance here at the World Series and race with the super late models, does the Bluffton, South Carolina driver. Jake Finch, going to see a lot of him this year racing with ARCA and other top series of NASCAR. Going to be starting in the 11th position for the super late model race. And Austin Nason, a talented driver from the upper Midwest, a two-time runner-up in the ARCA Midwest Tour points. He starts in 12th.
And another Midwest Tour veteran, former champion of that division, Gabe Summers, will start 13th tonight. Alongside him, defending super late model champion here at New Smyrna Speedway, Brad May. Brad's picked up many victories here in the World Series over the years. He's going to have a tough chore tonight coming from that 14th starting position. Derek Griffith already out of the Sportsman car. He is lined up and ready to go, and he will start alongside his namesake, Derek Kraus, in the 9K. Back at the World Series for the first time since 2019. He will start 16th here tonight.
Former track regular and former Pete Orr Memorial winner Bobby Good in car number 27 starts in 17th. Chris Wright in the 20 car will start in the outside of row number 9. Row number 10, the young teenage son of Dan Fredrickson, the veteran. Ty Fredrickson, the youngster from Webster, Minnesota, starting the 36 and 19th. And Billy Van Meter ran a lot of super late model races all across the country with ASA CRA as well as Southern Super Series and the Star Store. He rounds out the top 20.
A couple of very talented teenagers there in row number 10. Cody Crucker going to start in row 11 alongside, I believe, as we lost our starting lineup there, Jeff Chiquette, the veteran, will start in the 22nd position. Joe Lawrence and James Lynch out of Illinois starting back in row number 12.
Tommy Catalano and Mitch Haber make up row number 13. Danny Knoll Jr., Donald Teach make up row number 14. Rounding out our field, we've got Brandon Turbush just inside the top 30. Derek Kelly back there. Then Amy Catalano, Steve Weaver, David Weaver, Patrick Thomas, all in our scheduled starting lineup tonight as we get ready to go racing here in just a couple of laps, giving these drivers plenty of laps around the racetrack to get some heat in the tires and get ready to go for our second race of night number 1 of the World Series.
It's great to see the name Danny Knoll back in the starting lineup. You know, I'm one of those guys who scours the discussion forums and photo groups, and he made some ASA starts way back in the 1980s, mid-1980s. So Danny Knoll coming from deep in the field, looking to work his way up and grab a top 10 here tonight as we get the white flag. Next time by, we will go racing 35 laps the distance. 33 cars lined up and ready to go to combat. The first Premier Division feature event of the week coming your way. Working their way off at turn 4, coming to green.
Nicholas Nago on the inside and Jet Nolan on the outside come across the line. Head into turn number 1 is going to be Nago on the 08. A slight advantage with that second groove. Place to be on the exit of turn number 2. If you've got room out there, you can make it happen. As going into turn number 3, the 50 of Nolan loses a little ground, middle of the corner.
Ooh, they went 3 wide. Bubba Pollard wisely back down to that middle meat of the sandwich position as we've got a battle for the lead. Noggle facing some real heat from Jet Nolan off of turn 2 and down the backstretch.
Some crazy opening lap and a half right here, all the way through the field, as drivers know there's little time to get to the front in a 35-lap race. Does Noggle have him cleared? He does, heading into turn 1. Noggle the advantage out front up the banking. Nolan trying to fight back. Here comes the young man Connor Jones in the 44 for second.
Nick Noggle facing a lot of heat. He has got 2 very fast race cars directly behind him. He's got a stack of fast race cars directly behind him. Connor Jones, Brent Cruz, and Gio Ruggiero all nose to tail down into turn 1.
Now the Wilson team cars side by side. They move the 44. Up the banking goes Connor Jones. Loses 2, 3, maybe even 4 spots as Ruggiero and Cruz race into 3rd and 4th.
Boy, Gio Ruggiero delivered the chrome horn perfectly there to Connor Jones. Jones up the racetrack, and that's going to allow Gio Ruggiero and Brent Cruz to take those positions. And that battle for the lead still Jet Nolan trying to work his way past Nick Noggle down into turn 3 and 4.
Noticed over the last couple months, Jet Nolan all of a sudden has become a threat at these super late model races. Picked up the big win in Florida just a month or 2 ago, then went to Speed Fest, did very well there, was very competitive, strong, running at the front of the field. And guess what? Night number 1 of the World Series, and Jet Nolan's up there competing in the top 3, running second. He's got Noggle in front of him from Canada. He's got Ruggiero from the Northeast running in third. Top 4 now, nose to tail. Here comes the 24 of Cruz.
The 2 Donnie Wilson Motorsports prepared cars, the 22 of Gio Ruggiero and the 24 of Brent Cruz, have reeled in the top 2 and throw a blanket over the top 4 cars, nose to tail, as they cross the start-finish line.
Gio Ruggiero, what a season he had in the ASA Stars National Tour, picking up a couple wins. He also had a strong start here at the World Series last year, had 5 top 5 finishes in just 6 starts. No wins. He's challenging for one right now, all over the back bumper of Jet Nolan.
Trying to work that bottom lane down the front straightaway, can't make it stick. Jet Nolan slams the door shut on Gio Ruggiero. And right now, again, the top 4 falling back in a single file formation into turn 3.
Good racing at the front of the field, running nose to tail right now, just waiting for somebody to step out of line or somebody to increase the intensity. If it can increase even more than it already has been, Charlie, it's been a wild race over the first 10 laps, coming to complete lap number 10 this time with your leader, Nicholas Noggle, Jet Nolan, Gio Ruggiero, Brent Cruz, the top 4 in a breakaway. Right now running in the 5th spot is Connor Jones, and just out of the top 5, top qualifier, William Sawalich in that Kevin Harvick Racing entry, the 62, running in 6th.
Look at this challenge for the lead. One more time off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Noggle trying to make it work as we've got Bubba Pollard off the pace down the backstretch.
The top 4 as Pollard will drop to pit road as he tries to fine-tune things for the ASA Stars National Tour opener on Tuesday. Also watching deeper in the field, Austin Nason in the 14 racing the bottom lane. Couple of bright flashy cars right there that you can't miss, and they found each other on the racetrack. Michael Hine back a spot. Austin Nason has moved up to 10th.
Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, the battle for the lead is on. Here comes Jet Nolan to the inside. He tried to make it work down into turn 1, couldn't make it stick. Wow, again, talking about throwing everything but the kitchen sink. Nick Noggle having the run of his career here in the early going of tonight's 35-lap super late model feature.
He's made the long trip south a number of years, competed in pro late model competition for the most part, made some runs in supers a year ago, and now he's really stepped up his game. He was fast in yesterday's practice sessions as well as today's. Locked into the top 7 to make the invert, and right now he leads at lap number 14 complete. Closing on the halfway mark, just 4 laps from that as the battle for third heats up. Here comes Brent Cruz to the inside of Ruggiero. He makes the move.
Brent Cruz, the defending Trans Am TA2 division champion, also picked up a big win in the ARCA Menard Series on dirt last year. This driver is multi-talented, and he has worked his way past his teammate Gio Ruggiero. Brent Cruz on the move in the 24.
As we watch third and fourth battle, first and second heating up, as are the front rotors on the 50 of Nolan, glowing brightly entering the corners as Nolan made a move in turn 1 and 2 last time, tried to peek to the inside of the race leader Nicholas Noggle. Couldn't make the move. The opening wasn't there. Now he steps it up again to the inside, heading to turn 3. Nolan on the bottom of the racetrack. Noggle on the high side, pulls wheel to wheel in 4.
Side by side off of turn 4. Almost a dead heat here at the stripe. Give the lead to Noggle, but Jet Nolan drives it in deep. He moves Noggle up the racetrack down into turn 1.
He got on the brakes hard going into turn 1. The car slid out from underneath him, nearly spun it. 8 tires better than 4. Takes the lead. Does Jet Nolan. Second, Brent Cruz. He's on the move to the front in the 24. And Noggle in trouble. Might fall out of the top 4 in moments.
He's got some heat from Gio Ruggiero as the caution coming out for the first time here in tonight's 35-lap super late model feature, and I believe we have Brad May off the pace on the bottom side of the racetrack over in turns 3 and 4. And I'll tell you what, we need to catch our breath, but I think those drivers, more importantly, need to catch their breath. This has been an intense first 17 laps here tonight.
And it's not over yet. We've got a lot of exciting action. 18 laps to go in this one. Brad May's right front tire down. Brad May, the champion at this racetrack many times over the years, but this past season in 2023 claiming the Super Late Model Championship as well as the Pro Late Model Championship, and it's not the type of start he wanted to his week, but it is a long week. Right front tire is down, and we'll see if they're able to get him back out on the racetrack. So we went 17 laps right there of exciting action. Of course, Had a yellow mixed in there as well, and now we'll restack them for a restart that will take place right about the mid-mark of this 35-lap feature.
So I was trying to work this in throughout the course of that intense action. Connor Jones in the 44 car got the boot from Gio Ruggiero, lap 3 or 4, and dropped a couple of positions. He had patiently and methodically worked his way back up to the tail of that top 5, and he was right on the back bumper of Gio Ruggiero. And if we know anything about Connor Jones, he's got a file. He remembers those things. Keep an eye on that 44 car on this restart. He is going to be aggressive, and that race car is fast enough to get up there and fight for the win here tonight.
Connor Jones currently shown in 5th behind the 08 of Noggle. Back out front in this lead. The yellow flag coming out at an opportune time for Nicholas Noggle because they reverted back to the last completed lap, and that put him back out front, and Jet Noland will have to try it again. And I would guess that Noland's probably going to have to do it from the inside lane, and if that's the case, he might have to go into turn 1 just as hard as he did the last time to make the pass to pull it off because he was out front, and Brent Cruz came along with him.
What'd you say, 8 tires turned better than 4?
8 tires turned better than 4, and it wasn't intentional by any means. When he went in the corner, he went in there hard, he got on the brakes, and it caused the car to kind of four-wheel slide up into the second lane just a little bit. No harm really done. He definitely had the faster car at that point and made a couple of runs and was patient. Noggle this time will choose the inside lane. Nolan will go to the outside. So he switched it up, and maybe because when he was on the outside lane, Nolan was able to make the pass.
And, 8 tires turned better than 4.
That is true.
He learned his lesson on that dive bomb move there by Jet Nolan. So we'll see what Nick does here on this restart. And regardless of how this plays out, Nick Noggle has had an incredible run here tonight. Great run by the driver of that 08. He will start to the inside of row 1. Jet Nolan on the outside. Looks like the 2 Donnie Wilson Motorsports teammates alongside each other there in row 2. Gio Ruggiero to the inside. Brent Cruz to the outside. Connor Jones and William Sawalich back in row 3.
So they went white and a choose. They're trying to do that in one lap, which is definitely possible. But what drivers tend to do is they lay back waiting to see what the drivers in front of them do. So when they lay back like that, by the time the first 10 have gone across the choose cone, the back of the field's still in turn 4. So they were going to have a rough restart. They called it off. The field is now aligned, and we're going to do it this time. May end up finding out we're going to have to do it in 2 laps for big fields like the super late models that we see on track. Ready for a restart. 17 down, 18 laps to go. Nicholas Noggle chooses the inside. He's on the low lane, and on the outside, second place, Jet Nolan back underway at New Smyrna. Super late models with 18 to go.
Noggle on the hammer out of turn 4. He's going to lead the charge down into turns 1 and 2. Here comes Gio Ruggiero, going to try to stack it 3 wide off of turn 2, but Noggle going to stretch out the advantage into turn 3.
Ruggiero, it was a break for him. It looks like on this restart he had fallen back to 4th. He looks to make it 3 wide. That door closes. He's back in line behind Noggle down into turns 1 and 2. Noggle the advantage, but Jet Nolan fighting back. Nolan in a pretty good spot right now. Can he clear the 08 of Noggle in the next lap or so? We're going to have 16 to go at the line this time. We've now completed the first half of the race.
Jet Nolan making it work on the outside. He's going to lead across the stripe. Does he have enough momentum to clear Noggle down into turn 1? Yes, he does. Now Noggle going to feel the heat from Gio Ruggiero and Brent Cruz as they work their way down the backstretch.
Connor Jones running in the 5th position. As we watch this battle toward the front, Michael Hind has dropped off the pace, and it looks like the Hernando, Florida driver will be coming to the pits. There's Gio Ruggiero in the 22, Brent Cruz in the 24, and the battle for 5th starting to heat up. Connor Jones, William Sawalich, Dawson Sutton, the young man in the 26 car going to the outside. Up front, Noggle not letting the 50 car of Nolan get away.
You thought Nolan might have cleared him and drove off into the distance. Well, that hasn't happened. Nick Noggle right on the back bumper of Jet Nolan as they work off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Noggle trying to challenge for the lead into turn 3.
He gets to the inside. Contact is made in turn 4 to the inside lane. Nicholas Noggle on the bottom pulls up to the door. Down into turn number 1. They both go up the track a little bit. Nolan gives them plenty of room off of 2.
Fantastic racing for the lead here on opening night of the World Series. Nick Noggle trying to work his way back past Jet Nolan for the lead. He's going to pull alongside off of turn 4. Nolan holds him off.
Nolan the advantage heading into 12 laps remain in this 35-lap super late model feature on night one of the World Series. The 58th running here in 2024. The top 4 now nose to tail. The top 2 bumper to bumper. When will the next challenge come from Nolan with that 08 of Noggle running in the second spot?
Again, you can throw a blanket over the top 4. Whichever one of these drivers slips up is going to lose contact with this battle for the lead. Noggle again trying to work the bottom side of the racetrack. That car able to stick right on the yellow line through these corners. Nolan's car drifts up about half a lane. Right now, Nolan continuing to hold the advantage, but Noggle stalking him down the backstretch.
Good action on our super late models. We have 3 features remaining. The Sportsman in the books. Briggs picked up the win on our first race of the night. And up front, here comes Noggle again. The Canadian to the inside of Nolan the Floridian. Up the track they go in 1 and 2. Still able to stay off of one another for the most part. As this race winds down, though, how long can that continue on without some major contact?
Buddy Baker would call this racing side by side with just a little bit of casual contact. Indeed, these cars have been inches apart, maybe bounced off of one another right there down into turn 1. Noggle put those off in front just a little bit down the backstretch, but Nolan with the power, he's going to drive it deep into turns 3 and 4, again side by side off of 4.
Meanwhile, the Wilson Motorsports cars, the 3rd and 4th, Ruggiero and Cruz have closed the gap. Up the track they go. Here comes Ruggiero to the inside. 3 wide for the lead momentarily. Nolan going to try to return the favor to Noggle. Gets into him on the backstretch, pushes him up the track. Ruggiero into the lead, Cruz into 2nd, Nolan to 3rd. Here comes Jones.
All of that action, and the beneficiaries are the 2 Donnie Wilson Motorsports teammates. Gio Ruggiero, last year's Winchester 400 winner. He's going to jump to the front of the field. Here comes Brent Cruz in 2nd, and look at Connor Jones working his way up into 4th.
5 laps remain. Ruggiero found the opening when the contact was taking place at the front of the pack. It was almost a gift for the driver from Seekonk, Mass. We'll see if he's able to take advantage of it. 4 laps to go next time at the line, and Ruggiero pulls out to a couple car length advantage.
Gio Ruggiero, a very talented young man. He is on the radar of a lot of team owners, not only in the ARCA Menard Series, but up in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series as well. Same for Brent Cruz. Both of these drivers with very bright futures ahead, and they are coming to 3 to go this time around. Gio Ruggiero leads off at turn 4, 3 to go this time by.
Cars in 1st and 2nd didn't necessarily look like they were going to be in 1st and 2nd about 5-10 laps ago, but it's worked out well as we see the battle going on. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Nolan holding off Connor Jones and Nicholas Noggle right now. And with 2 laps to go, Gio Ruggiero holds the advantage.
Jason Caranci giving the field the 2 to go signal this time around. Already working their way down the backstretch. Gio Ruggiero with a car length in hand over Brent Cruz, coming to the white flag final time around here at New Smyrna.
Final lap for Ruggiero and Cruz, all out front to battle it by themselves. Cruz, before the most recent restart, was actually in front of Ruggiero, but he took advantage of the restart as he races to turn 3.
Coming through turns 3 and 4, Gio Ruggiero with the advantage. He will be looking at the checkered flag. Gio Ruggiero picking up the first win of the week for the super late models here at New Smyrna.
Brent Cruz brings it home in 2nd. Jet Nolan, Nicholas Noggle, Connor Jones completing the top 5. Dawson Sutton takes 6th. Good run for the young man there. Gus Dean, Austin Nason, William Sawalich, and Van Meter as the pair of teammates take 1st and 2nd tonight. Ruggiero and Cruz off to a good start. And this is the first win for Ruggiero here at the World Series in super late model competition. Last year having great runs, but not able to complete by finishing in victory lane. He does it tonight on the first night. Plenty of more opportunities throughout the week. Super late models running 6 events of the 9 this year.
See a few battle scars on the nose of that 22 car again. What an intense race. And I'll tell you what, Adam, if this is what we have in store for us through the rest of the week, it is going to be a fantastic World Series for the super late models.
As we send it back down to Victory Lane and Jesse Punch. So there's the 22 of Ruggiero in Victory Lane, celebrating after claiming the World Series win. 8th driver to claim a win in Pro Late Model competition at the World Series and a Super Late Model. He's claimed Pro Late Model wins here at the World Series in the past and now Super. His first Super Late Model victory at the World Series here tonight.
And these cars, as you said, going to be very active here at New Smyrna Speedway throughout the rest of the week. Let's take a look at their schedule if we can. Well, that's the Pro Late Model schedule, not the Super Late Model schedule. So why don't we talk about this? The Pro Late Models will put the exclamation point on tonight, coming up here in just a few minutes, and they will run, 5 more 35 lappers leading into the big 100-lap feature event for the Pro Late Models coming up on February 16th.
Yeah, we've got the Pro Lates coming up next for a 35-lapper, the Florida Modifieds, and then the Bomber A's all racing to end our night here at the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. 2 winners in the books this long week of competition here at this beautiful half mile at New Smyrna. We've got 3 more to go tonight. We're going to have it for you right here on FloRacing.
Mic check, 1 2 3. Mic check, 1 2 1 2 3. Check, mic check. I'm hearing myself come through StreamYard now, so.
Welcome back to the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, New Smyrna Speedway, where the Super Late Model feature event is claimed by Gio Ruggiero, who didn't look like he would end up in victory lane, and Cruz didn't look like he'd end up in second. But after watching Nicholas Noggle and Jet Nolan go at it at the front of the field, they found the right opportunity to pounce from 3rd and 4th in the last 5 laps or so, and all of a sudden they were out front.
And that is the 9th time a driver from the state of Massachusetts has gone to victory lane here at the World Series over the course of the 58 runnings. And, of course, Gio Ruggiero picking up his first career super late model victory in doing so. So great way to start the week for him. Great way to start the week for Donnie Wilson Motorsports. They've got 3 super late model teams. They've got another team locked and loaded to come out in the Pro Late Model division coming up here in just a few minutes. And Adam, I'll tell you what, that Pro Late Model division year in and year out always puts on a fantastic show here. And it is really the launching point. A lot of young drivers choose to hop into Pro Late Model as they start to work their way up the ladder. And we saw Connor Jones dip his toes in that Pro Late Model division a few years back. And now look at him. He's racing super late models. He's running in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Could be a launching point for a lot of these young drivers, including Gio Ruggiero's teammate, Isabella Robusto, in the number 28 car we'll see here in just a few minutes.
Plenty of great coverage all week long here on Flow. Of course, tomorrow afternoon, the Icebreaker taking place, and Jacqueline Drake's going to be there before joining us later in the week for our coverage here.
I understand there's an interesting name entered in the Icebreaker up there at Florence Speedway coming up tomorrow. NASCAR Hall of Famer going to be going to battle tomorrow.
Richard Petty?
Bobby Allison, I think.
Oh, okay.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, Dale Jr. in
Dale
action.
Jr. in action tomorrow. So tune in live right here on FloRacing. That one coming up tomorrow afternoon, 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll tell you what, Adam, the way that schedule works, how does this work out? As soon as that Icebreaker is over, you can roll right into World Series action right here at New Smyrna Speedway. Night number 2 coming up tomorrow night.
Great coverage. We'll continue all week long here on Flow, the Pro Late Models, to bring us our next event. And that Super Late Model race went pretty well considering how hard these drivers were racing in that short 35-lap event.
You know, I postulated before that race started that we might see some drivers just kind of lay back and log laps, and they immediately proved me wrong on that one. The entire field, just raced their rear ends off in that race. And the battle for the lead between Nick Noggle and Jet Noland, it's a shame neither of those drivers picked up the checkered flag because they absolutely put on a whale of a show. And like I said, if that sets the stage for what we're going to see throughout the rest of the week in the Super Late Model division, we are going to be in for a treat.
Still a couple more minutes as the Pro Late competitors get lined up. Of course, this is what is being looked at as a short intermission here at the track, giving fans a chance to get up, stretch their legs, go down, and grab a bite to eat, something to drink there on the concourse before the final 3 features. We talked about it earlier, Charlie. If you didn't happen to hear that earlier, the races this year have a time limit. Tonight's race is 30 minutes for these 35-lappers, 15 minutes for the 20-lap race for the Bomber A's at the end of the night. And throughout the week, there will be time limits. It's the first time that it's been instituted. There have been events, and it's not every night, but usually there's a course of about 2 nights out of a 9-night week where you go, wow, that was a rough one. You get out of here about midnight, and everybody, being here 9 nights, I don't think too many people want to be here until midnight, very many of those nights. The first 2 races, they easily got in under their time. The first one, the Sportsman, probably were a little bit close because they had some delays right around the race's midpoint. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out during the week and how many times that has to be used. Not to say that it's going to happen in this Pro Late Model race, but it very well could happen in any of these races. You get a couple of yellows, a couple of lengthy cleanups, and a few bad restarts, and all of a sudden we're at 30 minutes.
No one loves racing, especially short track racing, Adam, I think maybe than you and I. Mm-hmm. We are addicted. We are in it for good, but I'll tell you what, there are times when these nights do tend to drag out, and I will tell you what, I wholeheartedly applaud putting time limits on some of these races. I think it will not only improve the time we get out of here, I think it will improve the quality of the show as well. So good call by the folks here at New Smyrna Speedway, and we'll see how that plays out not only tonight but throughout the course of the entire week.
Still during this short intermission here as the field comes together on pit road for the Pro Late Models. It's their first event of the 58th running of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, and we will be back with the start of that race, the lineup, and more after this on Flow. Drivers are getting buckled in for the Pro Late Model Opener, the 58th running of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing at New Smyrna Speedway in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. It's Charlie Crawl, Adam Mackey, and Jesse Punch on the call tonight. We'll be with you all week long, plus a little extra because a week's only 7 days, and this thing goes 9, not counting the practice, which took place yesterday afternoon, which went relatively smooth. Practice today going relatively smooth. Haven't seen any heavily damaged cars, at least through our practice sessions, and that's what you want to see going into a race night. The super late models with their biggest field since 2015, having a good, clean race, very little action as far as crashes go there. Plenty of action to watch. And now these pro late model competitors, as you see the field there on pit road, getting ready for 35 laps in their first race of the week. The drivers all in the cockpits, final preparations, buckling in some of the competitors right now. And then final 2 races, Florida Modifieds and Bomber A's still yet to go tonight.
The much anticipated Bomber A feature. Can't wait to get that one. And Adam, talk about much anticipated. And we've got a couple headline events coming up here. One of them tomorrow night with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. The other coming up on Tuesday evening, and I know that one pretty important to you, the Clyde Hart Memorial 200 for the ASA Stars National Tour. Talk about some of the big names coming to race that one. Chase Elliott, William Byron. It's going to be a star-studded field coming up on Tuesday night.
Absolutely. Bubba Pollard, Stephen Nasse, all of the main stars will be there from the super late models. We've got plenty of them racing here tonight, actually, that we just saw on track for the supers coming out to race the early nights of the World Series, and we may end up seeing them for all 6 super late model races this week. But yes, the ASA Stars National Tour in action for the season opener of that 10-race series coming up on Tuesday night. Of course, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour tomorrow night. If you get a chance and you're in the area, or you can make it down for a few days of the World Series this week to see this in person, please do. We love that you're watching it on Flow with us, but we would love to have you here at the racetrack as well, watching this in person. The weather, beautiful today, up in the 70s, sunny skies, saw a beautiful sunset out behind the grandstands, and looks like we're going to see much of the same for much of the week. In fact, I think some temperatures over the next few days in the 80s.
I can't wait. And if you do want to come tomorrow, come early. It's going to be a full house here tomorrow night for that Whelen Modified Tour 200 lapper. 35 cars on the entry list qualifying. Going to be a big part of the show here tomorrow night. And, of course,
there's the schedule for the Saturday night. Night number 2, Pro Late Models running a 35-lap feature. Florida Modifieds, 35 laps. Bomber A's, 20 laps tomorrow night. But the headliner at the top there, New Smyrna Beach Area Visitors Bureau 200 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. I think I heard 35 scheduled entries for that one. And then I think there will be some nights this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see 40 entries for some of the regular shows, even though none of those shows are regular. They're all amazing. Get those East Coast Modifieds out here on the racetrack. They put on such a great show, and it'd be good to see them back on track. Ben Dodge and Joe Koss will be calling that for you on Flow tomorrow night. But Charlie and I will still be here because we're going to call all the other action.
Always great to see Ben Dodge at the racetrack. Ben is such a integral part of the history of not only the modifieds here at New Smyrna Speedway, but the modified tour as a whole. And you talk about a guy with a passion for that series. Nobody loves those tour-type modifieds more than Ben Dodge does. So good to have him and Joe on the call tomorrow as we send it down pit road for a quick update from Jesse.
And Adam, when you were listing that starting lineup, you mentioned that 71 of Katie Hettinger. Definitely keep an eye on that race car tonight. Katie ran this Pro Late Model race last year. She was the first woman to win a Pro Late Model race during the World Series here at New Smyrna. And during the 2023 season, she was the Cars Tour Pro Late Model Rookie of the Year. She's back this year looking to make a statement here in Night 1. Good
to see that Jesse's gotten rid of the laryngitis. I think she had a little case of laryngitis there for a moment. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, Jesse.
Come on.
Nah, it was good. Yeah, Katie Hedinger. Good report there from Jesse, because Katie Hedinger was very fast here last year. And she put on a show at the World Series in 2023.
She had a little bit of a snake bit season later on in the year, but she did kick things off in style here at New Smyrna, and she made the transition to a family-owned race team here. This is their first, actually I believe it's their second night out here with the new family-owned team. So keep an eye on Katie Hedinger in that number 71 car. She looks like she's going to be going from the 5th starting position here tonight. Katie gets around New Smyrna Speedway very, very well, so we will indeed keep an eye on her throughout the course of tonight's program. Field starting to build up tire temperature as we get ready to go here, as 35 laps to distance for the Pro Late Models here.
Qualifying earlier, Dawson Sutton set fast time. We saw him have a solid run in the Supers. He qualified fast. He starts in 3rd. The invert for this race was a 3, which puts Sutton in the 3rd starting position. It puts George Phillips. What a start he's had this year. He's kind of come out of nowhere, went to Speed Fest very fast, and George Phillips locks it into the top 3. We'll start from the pole. Hunter Wright starts alongside in the 29, and there's Dawson Sutton inside of row 2. Just outside of the invert in qualifying was Jimmy Renfrew's 00.
Pair of fast female drivers there in row 3. Katie Hedinger alongside Isabella Robusto as we get the 2 to go signal here at start finish. Ryan Luza and Dustin Bryson back in row number 4.
Chad Butts in the 8 will start on the inside of row number 5. Brody Monahan in the 15 will start in the 10th position. Starting 11th is Anthony Bello in the 25, and the 1 of Tony Breidinger starts 12th.
Tony going to challenge for the championship in the ARCA Menard Series here in 2024. Corey Luciano and R.J. Brown back in row 7. Ryan Phipps alongside Tommy Sorum back in row 8.
Row number 9 on the inside is Thomas Carson in the 93. Diago Moscato starts on the outside in 18th. Starting 19th, Mike Scorzelli. And starting 20th is Chuck Tuck.
My pal Christian Rose going to start inside row 11. I'm going to be playing golf with him on Tuesday, so I need to beat him. Billy Brown alongside Glenn Stiers and Jared Allison back in row 12.
Final starters in this one: Tim Laurent, Brandon Lopez, Ray Minieri. It is Dalton Smith, Mike Mayberry, David Russell, and John Bolin. Ready for green, 35 laps the distance for the Pro Late Models. Their opener for the World Series this year. Ready for green in turn 4. Phillips and Wright bring them down the front stretch.
Hunter Wright with a great jump. He is going to jump out to the lead in the number 29 car. George Phillips going to hold on to the 2nd position. Dawson Sutton a little squirrely there through turns 1 and 2. He is going to drop back into the 4th position as field coming off at turn 4 to complete lap number 1. Hunter Wright leading the way to start finish.
Clean over the first lap. A lot of young drivers. A lot of drivers making their first World Series appearance. One that is not is Hunter Wright. Plenty of experience here at the World Series over the last several seasons, and he's pulling away at the front of the field, followed by Phillips. Phillips in the 55, strong through all of the practices. Good qualifying run. Being challenged now for 2nd by Renfrew.
Hunter Wright, a perennial contender here at the World Series, driving for longtime team owner Wayne Day. A challenge for the championship each and every year up at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Right now, Hunter Wright pulling out an advantage over George Phillips in 2nd, and Jimmy Renfrew with a good start holding on to 3rd as we work lap number 4.
Field spreading around, a mostly single file, nose detailed. Drivers being patient here in the early going. They don't want to spend long nights in the shop or in the pit area trying to get their cars back together for night number 2. Hunter Wright looking strong early in the 29 car. He will be one of the favorites night in and night out to challenge for this World Series Pro Late Model Championship. Driver talented from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway leading the way right now.
Remember a couple of years back, Hunter Wright and Connor Jones fought tooth and nail each and every night for the victories here in the Pro Late Model ranks, and right now Hunter Wright stretching out that advantage. It's to be about a 10-car length lead over George Phillips now down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4 as they work around his slow car coming down to pit road. As 6 laps now in the books of our 35-lap feature for the Pro Late Model division.
Chuck Tuck in the 17, the car off the pace, dropping to the pits. Veteran driver has made many starts here at the World Series as Hunter Wright leads over the 55 of George Phillips. 7 laps in the books. clean and green here in the early stages of this Pro Late Model feature on night 1 of the World Series. The Florida Modifieds are getting ready pit side right now for the next event, followed by the Bomber A's to round out our night 1 racing. As Hunter Wright continues to lead, I think Phillips closing the gap a little bit.
Wright still leading.
He is, but Phillips is right there.
Yep.
This Phillips kid is good.
What?
George Phillips. I didn't know. He came to Speed Fest and was running well, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Who did he drive for before he was in this car?
I don't know. He races on the East Coast. He races like Cars Pro Late Models or something.
So we almost lost him right
and
there.
we changed the lead because of it.
Yep.
There, that's why we need to pay attention.
That's why we need to pay attention.
We looked up at the right time. running in the third spot. Dawson Sutton running fourth. And Isabella Robusto running fifth.
Jimmy Renfrew in the tire tracks. And George Phillips off in turn 4. And Phillips has had a great start to his 2024. Looked great at Speedfest a couple of weeks back. And right now he is trying to work through some lap traffic, and he is going to see Renfrew to his outside. They stack him 3 wide with some lap traffic into turn 3.
Renfrew was patient there. Going to be tight off of 4 again at the line. Renfrew takes it. These lap cars are giving the leaders fits right now. Wright lost the lead because of a slower car. And right now, it was Phillips doing the same. Phillips back to second, now loses second. And we have a yellow at the same time for an accident in turn 1 and 2. And it's a pretty big one.
Several cars involved down in turns 1 and 2. One car with the entire left side ripped off as it works its way off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. There you see the 43 car getting turned back around. I believe that is Ray Minieri in the number 43. There's the number 22. I believe that is Ryan Phipps. And you see the damage to the right front corner of that car. But as damaged as that car is, there was another automobile, and I believe that is the number 45 car, Mike Mayberry, with the entire left side ripped off of that car as Mike Mayberry comes down onto pit road, and he's going to bring that machine right back into the garage area. And there is the damage to that automobile. Wow, a lot of work for that team tonight.
Here's the good news. They're going to have to put a new body on it, maybe fix the easy up. But after they put the new body on, I think it's mostly cosmetic.
Looks all cosmetic. Those wheels were all rolling straight as an arrow. So, and I believe, unfortunately, that will put us under the red flag for the first time of the 2024 World Series here at New Smyrna Speedway. But a 4-car incident down there in turns 1 and 2, and pretty significant damage to at least one of the race cars. The reason for this first red flag of the week.
We will take a look at a replay of what happened down in turns 1 and 2. When we return, you see Mike Mayberry upset as he gets out of his race car after this.
Hey, let's keep a camera on whatever is going.
We have 9 laps to go in this Pro Late Model feature, and what a clean race it had been. It was crazy up front watching the leaders go through traffic. We had lead changes because of it. Hunter Wright was out front, got in traffic, made a move to the inside. That opened the outside lane for Phillips. He took the lead. Then Phillips momentarily lost the lead. When he made a move, Renfrew was out front, but last completed lap shows Phillips as the leader, Renfrew in second, and Hunter Wright in third. We do have a replay of the accident that took place up in turns 1 and 2 that brought us to our first yellow. And here it is, Charlie.
Take a look at what happened down here into turn 1. It looks like the 43 got into another car, locked it down to try to keep himself from taking out that other driver, and that, of course, the 43 of Ray Minieri. And as the rest of the field came upon it, There you see Ryan Phipps up on the side of the number 45 of Mike Mayberry, ripping off the bodywork of the left side of that 45 car and raising the temperature inside the driver's helmet of that 45 car.
Those drivers were racing at the back of the field and obviously didn't get slowed down in time. As there's a look at the Mayberry machine and the crew working on the 45. Again, looks like mainly body. When Phipps got up on the side of the car, ripped the body apart to pieces, but I think most of the suspension still in the right direction. I think wheels pointing the right way, was able to drive it back, but unfortunate break for that man right there. Who was not a happy camper. Mike Mayberry showed his displeasure with Phipps as we were heading to break.
He went looking for him, but they were under red, so Ryan was not going to be coming by to receive whatever message Mike was trying to deliver. And then, wouldn't you know it, Ryan Phipps drove right past his pit stall. So, yeah, boy, drama in the pit area here at the World Series. Unheard of to have drama. Let's take a look at this action right here. Look at that damage to the left side of that car. Even got the roof on the 45 of Mike Mayberry. That is a tough break on night one. But as you said, Adam, the important part, all of those wheels pointed in the right direction. So that team's got some work, but it's not as bad as it could have been, all things considered.
All right, so we're reset now. We're ready to go. 9 laps from the finish, 26 completed. The leader is Phillips, the 55. He's chosen the inside lane for the restart. Jimmy Renfrew Jr., who led briefly right before the yellow came out. That reverted him back into the second spot. Up to third right now on the inside of row 2 is top qualifier Dawson Sutton. So keep your eye on the young man from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, who had a good run in the super late model race tonight and trying to do even better in the pro race. And Hunter Wright, don't count him out yet, led a lot of laps, lost the lead when he was going through slower traffic. 9 laps from the finish. Phillips, Renfrew to bring him to green to get us back underway in this 35 lap main event for the pro lates.
Keep an eye on that red 08 car as well. Ryan Luza started 14th all the way up to 5th with 9 to go. On the restart, Jimmy Renfrew with the jump. He is going to take the lead off of turn 2 and stretch a 2-car length advantage over George Phillips in second.
The battle is for third. Sutton on the inside. It is Hunter Wright on the outside. A pair of drivers from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, the Music City, as they race side by side for the third spot. Sutton sideways. He had to kind of steer off of the 29 of Hunter Wright. Battle for the number 5 position. On the inside is Luza. He's coming through the field. Had a good speed weeks a year ago here at the World Series. Can he clear? On the outside, Robusto, who's having a nice night. He does. He's up to 5th. Robusto back to 6th.
Of course, Isabella Robusto coming back from injuries last year. Suffered at Hickory Motor Speedway. As we go back under the caution flag, we'll talk about Isabella here in a second. We see the number 33 car with damage coming down pit road.
Tim Laurent in the 33 making his way to the pits with some damage to the left front, most likely ending this night number 1 for the 33. 7 laps now with 28 laps down, 7 from the finish for our pro late models, Florida Modifieds, and Bomber A still yet to go. This one was very clean over the first 25 laps or so, with very little contact, very little damage, and then they kind of got up into some slower traffic, really made things crazy and exciting at the front of the field. That wasn't where the cautions were taking place, though. It's been toward the back of the field.
And if anybody's wondering, you talked about those time limits earlier today. We're still about halfway through that allotted 30-minute time frame for this race, so still should have plenty of time remaining to get the final 7 laps completed here. Jimmy Renfrew scored as the leader, George Phillips in second. Hunter Wright, Dawson Sutton, and Ryan Luza round out the top 5. We were talking about Isabella, well, I was trying to talk about that great run Isabella Robusto was having. Isabella, of course, coming back from injuries suffered last year at Hickory Motor Speedway. Getting the call to hop back in that Donnie Wilson prepared number 28 car. She's having a great run so far tonight, sitting back in 6th.
Some work on pit road. Going to
Christian Rose.
Remove the hood, take a look under the front, see if they can get this car back out there to complete the last 7 laps as we're getting ready to double this field up on the front straightaway.
So we're going to play golf with Christian on Tuesday, try to capture some content for ArcaRacing.com. Christian, of course, a member of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore Athletic Hall of Fame for his prowess on the pitcher's mound. We thought, he's got some athletic skill. We're going to invite him to come and play golf. We should be able. And I said, that will make better content. Christian, thank you. Tough night for him here tonight. Tough way to end night number one. But looking for a good week, not only here, but over at the big track as well. He will be running the ARCA Menard Series season opener coming up next Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, actually. And talk about a busy night on Thursday. He's going to travel back and forth between here at New Smyrna with the Pro Late Model Division and the big track 4 times back and forth between practice, qualifying, race.
Good news is it's like 15 minutes.
Right. It would be a lot easier if you had a helicopter, I think. Though.
Yeah.
I said we need to actually put a camera on you to capture that content. That's going to be a lot of fun. So big week ahead for Christian Rose, but a tough way to end the night for him here tonight.
7 laps from the finish. Pace car lights have gone off. The cars have chosen the inside and the outside. It's Phillips again taking the inside, despite his last restart not being so strong. See if he gets a better restart this time. Picks up the pace earlier than the box, down in 3 and 4. We are underway. Ralph Miller, who is the longtime flagman here, gives it a half-hearted wave of the green, and I think we're going to go back to yellow. We do.
Usually that is the signal that the flagger does not like that. Ralph, not a big fan of that jump by George Phillips right there. So we will slow him down and line him up and try it one more time.
Be the same lineup. Phillips wasn't going to let Renfrew Jr. get away that time on the outside lane, so he picked it up. Problem was he did it before the starting box over there, kind of before turn 4. They need to be steady and pretty equal when they get to that turn 4 area, and they were not. So we've given the one to go again. We'll try it for a second time.
You see those head games being played often in NHRA drag races in the staging zone. Someone might pull in a little early or a little late. And I think that's what George Phillips was doing right there. He was playing a little head game there with Jimmy Renfrew. We'll see if it works here as we come back to the restart zone there in turns 3 and 4. Great start this time by green flag back up. 7 to go here at New Smyrna.
Side by side, they enter turn 1. Outside lane, the place to be. In this case, it is off of turn number 2. Jimmy Renfrew Jr. back into the lead. Phillips has a battle on his hands. It's with early race leader Hunter Wright to the outside lane. Dawson Sutton peeking to the inside for the 3rd position, but leading with 6 to go. Out front, Jimmy Renfrew Jr.
Great restart from that top side of the racetrack, and so often, particularly here in the Pro Late Model Division, where momentum is so key to these race cars, the top side of the racetrack, the place to be, particularly on late race restarts. But look at this. Here comes George Phillips in the 55. He's on the back bumper of the leader going into turn 1.
Phillips has a fast car, and it looks like it's staying strong after we've got a couple laps under our belts. The restart wasn't his friend there, but it's a 2-car breakaway at the front off of turn 4. 4 laps to go for Renfrew, as well as Phillips. And then a little bit further back by himself in 3rd is Hunter Wright. Battle for 4th and 5th going into turn 1. Sutton on the inside, Luza on the outside.
Luza started back in the 14th position. He is trying to work his way up into 4th. Dawson Sutton not wanting to give it up. Side-by-side battle for position as they come across the stripe.
Luza was strong last year at the World Series, came back again this year, and he's made some big ground up in this race. Also at the front of the field, Phillips to the inside of Renfrew for the lead. So 2 battles going on to the top 5, 2 laps to go. Renfrew holding on. Phillips, he's got a strong race car right now. Can he hold him off?
You have to wonder if George Phillips saving up for a final last lap challenge for this victory. They're working their way into turns 3 and 4. Inches separate leader Jimmy Renfrew from 2nd place. George Phillips, throw Hunter Wright in the mix as well. We're on the final lap.
Off of the 2nd corner, maybe one more attempt down in 3 and 4 for Phillips, but he gets in the wall. Got a little too hard, a little too high off the 2nd turn. Damages the right side of his car. They're going to have to work on that, but picking up the win is Jimmy Renfrew Jr. Phillips takes 2nd, Hunter Wright 3rd, Sutton 4th, and taking 5th is Ryan Luza with a nice rally through the field tonight.
And you have to wonder what George Phillips had planned down in turns 3 and 4 on that final lap, but he didn't get a chance after making contact with the outside wall off of turn 2. That opens the door for Jimmy Renfrew Jr. picking up the opening night victory here in the Pro Late Model division.
61st different winner for Pro Late Models in World Series history. 22 states in Canada represented in those 112 races. And this is the second win for New Hampshire represented as a state as Renfrew goes to victory lane. Did a nice job up front. You know, Phillips, the young man in the 55, I think he's going to be impressive, not only this week, but from what I've seen from him. Had very little knowledge of the driver that runs kind of in North Carolina, Cars Pro Late Model Tour. I hadn't seen him race leading into Speedfest, and he had a great weekend there, and he's off to a second-place run tonight. But I think the car might have sustained some pretty good damage when he got off of turn 2 a little bit high. Still was able to hang on to second. Hunter Wright, Dawson Sutton, Ryan Luza rounding out the top 5. Jimmy Renfrew Jr., impressive run tonight, starts with the point lead as we head down to victory lane.
Your Pro Late Model winner here tonight, Jimmy Renfrew Jr., climbing out, taking that checkered flag, and celebrating with the team. A hard-fought win there, holding on to it in that final overtime and ousting that 55. Jimmy, congratulations on the win. Take me back through that final restart. What was the key to gaining the lead on that final restart and then holding on to it through the checkered?
Yeah, I knew this thing was real good all day, and we missed it just a little bit in qualifying, and ended up 4th. But I knew we had a race car, and I knew I could beat him on the restart if I hit my marks, and I knew if I didn't let him drive under me, then I thought we had a shot. So can't thank him for racing me clean. I know we had some problems last week, but I didn't come down here to spend a bunch of money and wreck race cars. So glad we could race clean, and can't wait to see what the rest of this week brings.
Well, you came down here, spent a little bit of money, and found yourself in victory lane. Best of luck the rest of the week, Jimmy.
Thank you.
That's Jimmy Renfrew Jr. He's your winner here, night 1 in the Pro Late Model.
Exciting first victory in World Series competition for the Pro Late Model victor tonight. Jimmy Renfrew Jr. mentioned the top 5 a couple times, a couple impressive runs there. A couple young ladies there, 6th and 7th, Isabella Robusto and Katie Hedinger. 8th place, Brody Monahan, Dustin Bryson 9th, and Chad Butts finishing in the 10th spot. We have the Florida Modifieds lining up on pit road, a 35-lap feature for night 1, coming up next on FloRacing. There you see the Florida Modifieds lining up on pit road. Florida Modifieds, long time a part of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. And the thing I like about that division, we talk about it every year, the number of veteran drivers that we see back year after year looking for another World Series title. We've got a couple of them in the field that are longtime New Smyrna Beach competitors, and Tank Tucker and Jerry Simons right here at their home track in their hometown. Tank Tucker back has 22 World Series wins. Jerry Simons has at least 48, could be 148. I don't think the records go back that far, but between those two drivers and all the championships they've had here at the World Series, it's fun to watch those two compete against what is a very veteran-laden class.
And a couple of moves in this class. We have seen, you mentioned Tank Tucker back in this division. Tank will be driving the number 15 car that we have normally seen, we're very used to seeing. Timmy Moore drive. And Tim Moore transitioning into the number 57 car for this, at least tonight, if not for the rest of the week. So a couple of veteran drivers swapping rides here throughout the course of this week. And, this always is one of the more action-packed classes throughout the course of the week. Might not have the deepest car counts week in and week out when we come down here for the World Series. But these guys always give you a lot of action.
Victory Lane festivities coming to an end here momentarily for Jimmy Renfrew Jr. The Florida Modifieds are all lined up. They're ready to go. They're biting at the bit. But when you look at some of the ages of the drivers in this upcoming Florida Modified division, Wayne Parker, 59 years of age. Tank Tucker, 58 years of age. Jerry Simons, 58 years of age. Tim Moore in his upper 40s. Jared Allison. I mean, you got some veteran drivers in this race coming up.
Old age and treachery versus youth and enthusiasm in this division, and there is a lot of treachery.
Our Pro Late model, and maybe I'll do the math tomorrow if I'm really feeling spry early in the day, but the Pro Late model division, average of age in that field probably 20?
It's got to be upper teens, lower 20s,
yeah.
Yep.
And this Florida Modified division, probably figure out it's going to be in the 40s.
Upper.
Yeah, in the 40s.
That's okay. I like those veteran drivers.
I do. That's I like that class. I wish it had 16
to
20 cars.
Yeah.
It's just a few cars short of what we would like to see tonight. Hopefully we'll get a few more later this week. We typically do, as this is just the first of what looks to be 6 nights of racing for the Florida Modifieds during the 9 nights here this week.
Who was the veteran guy that you would go to Midvale and watch when you were a kid?
Well, when I was growing up, we had the main ones were at that point as a young kid were Mark Malkett,
yep,
who used
Captain
to run
Sizzle.
here at the World Series.
Captain Sizzle.
Were Bob Sibla, Scott Baker,
yeah,
and my favorite. He still races a couple times a year, Richie Rohrer. Yeah.
So
there you go.
And all of those guys were veteran guys.
Yeah.
I was very lucky to grow up watching Joy Fair, and occasionally we'd see the likes of Bob Seneker and some of those Western Michigan guys. But I always loved those veteran guys who had been around a long time and had dozens, if not hundreds, of feature victories to their credit. There is a look at the schedule for the rest of the week for the Florida Modifieds. Coming up, night number 3, 35 laps. A sprint race, 25 laps, coming up on night number 4, February 12th. Another 35 lapper coming up on night number 6. And then the big one, February 15th, 75 laps. And then we will put the exclamation point on this one, night number 9, a 35 lapper. So 6 races for the week for the Florida Modified division.
Florida Mods have rolled onto the raceway for their 35-lap feature. Again, time limit hasn't come into play in any of the 3 first features that we've had. The only one that was close, I think, was the Sportsman, as it is time now to take a look at our starting lineup for the night for this Florida Modified race. L.J. Grimm and Timmy Moore on row number 1. Timmy Moore, a former champion of World Series in the Florida Modifieds. Wayne Parker hasn't won the World Series championship, but he's won some races. He's fast, and that car always seems to hammer down the straightaway. Wayne Parker starting in 3rd. Jerry Simons, many-time champion, many-time feature winner. He starts in position number 4.
Matthew Green and Jared Allison back in row number 3. Eugene Tuminello alongside Brian Gayton there in row number 4.
Matt Jarrett in the number 2, starting on the inside lane. Jarrett, 3 top 10s and 3 starts last season here at the track. Tank Tucker, talked about the veteran there, didn't qualify as well as he would have liked, starting on the outside of row number 5. Shane Heldon, Dylan Williams rounding out the first 12 starters. There's the field of cars. L.J. Grimm in that 72, a veteran driver himself. Has run a number of modified races, I believe, not only on asphalt but on dirt. Has run some sprint car stuff too. We'll watch him as he joins us for the World Series this year and has instantly put his name in to the hat as one of the threats to maybe claim a World Series championship because his car has been fast in all the practices and looked good in qualifying. The pace car lights are off. We're ready to start our 4th feature of the World Series here on night number 1 is going to be L.J. Grimm in the 72 and Timmy Moore in the 57 to bring him to green.
Wayne Parker and Jerry Simons back there in row 2. A lot of experience in that second row. Field starting to pick up the pace through turns 3 and 4. Coming to the green flag. 35 laps to distance here for the Florida Modifieds.
L.J. Grimm didn't get up to speed over in turn 4 as the outside lane car of Timmy Moore did. We race off of turn number 2. So far we stay green, but now the yellow lights will slow the field. And we will have to try it again. I think L.J. Grimm thought we were going to wait to turn 4 to give it the go, and there wasn't really a gradual increase in speeds, while Timmy Moore, he's done plenty of these races during the World Series. He started to pick up the pace. So to get the white flag, we'll have to quickly realign, and we're going to try it again.
L.J. Grimm was expecting a NASCAR-style start, and Timmy Moore was anticipating an ASA-style start on that one, I think. But we will line them up. White flag has already been displayed to the field, so we will get the green this time around. Again, 35 laps the distance. And I believe the pace car already starting to stretch out that advantage, so we will come back to green this time by L.J. Grimm, Tim Moore up on the front row.
They get over to turn 4. Much better restart this time. Underway officially here in the Florida Modified 35-lap World Series opener. Cars into turn 1 up the track went the 57 of Moore. Nearly opened it up for 3 wide. Simons tried to maybe find that opening, but Wayne Parker does. Parker into second, battle for third, and boy, Simons had to check up.
Boy, almost some contact there between Tim Moore in the 57 and Jerry Simons in the 66. These two drivers have gone door to door and wheel to wheel multiple times as we've got caution on the speedway. The 16. Brian Gayton coming to a stop here at start finish will put us under the caution for the first time tonight. 1 lap in the books.
So Gayton will get it turned around here on the front straightaway and pull away from the scene, spinning while running toward the back of the field. You can tell it's one of those hand-painted cars we see here at the World Series on a yearly basis. A lot of them coming right here from this modified class. So we're going to be a restart time with 1 lap down and 34 to go.
L.J. Grimm going to face some pressure from Wayne Parker on this restart. We've seen Wayne in victory lane here at the World Series. 11 times total, all of them coming since 2018. So he has been a dominant force here the last 6 years in this division. Couple of memorable victory lane interviews out of Wayne Parker the last couple of years as well. White flag displayed here. Let's take a quick look at why we are under the caution flag. Keep an eye on the back of the field. Brian Gayton just getting a little sideways, trying to keep up with Dylan Williams there. Lost the handle on the 16 car. No contact, no harm, no foul. And we'll line them back up for the final 34 laps.
Ready for the restart. Wayne Parker now will have his shot on the inside lane. Grimm chose the outside as the leader in the 72. He should fire first and does down in turn 4. Parker will try to stay with him. Jerry Simons restarts in third. Timmy Moore restarting in fourth. We are underway. Again, 34 laps from the finish.
Couple of grizzled veterans going at it as the caution flag going to come back out. So a halting start to the Florida Modified feature. Second caution in as many laps. No indication yet, Adam, why we are under the caution flag. Could be some debris on the racetrack, or maybe race control officials in the booth next door unhappy with that restart.
One lap down, 34 to go, and we're going to try it again with Grimm and Parker up front in row 1. Didn't look to be too bad on the front row. I've seen worse.
I thought it was a clean restart. So, in any case, white flag will be displayed here at start finish. We'll line them up and try it one more time.
Jason Caranci, who started flagging here at New Smyrna Speedway in the past year. He and Ralph Miller sharing the duties during the World Series feature competition tonight. Caranci, former flagman at Lorain County Speedway. I remember watching him flag there. One of the best double checkered guys there is.
Love it.
He does it well. Ready for the restart. Turn 4. L.J. Grimm, Wayne Parker to the green. That one looked to be pretty good as well. Coming down the front straightaway, it's Grimm out into the lead. And
contact.
Third, boy, down into turn 1 and 2. Around goes Jared Allison. Yeah, big contact down there, Charlie.
And I will tell you what, I think Jerry Simons and Tim Moore may be very lucky they didn't bounce off the outside wall. There was a lot of contact going down into turn 1.
I think they all went into turn 1 more than the tires wanted to take, is what it looked like. And I don't think it was anything like rough driving wise. I think they just went into turn 1, everybody a little bit too hard.
Yep. And you know, you talk about, you hear the word modified, and of course, this particular division of modifieds does not have the big fat wide tires that you see on the NASCAR Whelen modified tour cars that we'll see here tomorrow. These tires, 8 inches wide? That is not a big contact patch. And these drivers were anticipating they were going to stick, and they didn't.
A 1 to go signal being given here. Jared Allison in the 18, getting rolling again. As they get the 1 to go signal, field lining up on the front straightaway at the cone. And it's going to be again Grimm on the outside, and it's going to be Parker on the inside. So there's our front couple rows heading down into the third corner. Again, the beautiful new Smyrna Speedway pace car. As EJ will take it back to pit lane and get ready to go again. The modifieds wanting to get some laps in right here. LJ Grimm with a good restart on the outside lane. That's Parker's best restart on the inside as they go into turn number 1. Who will come out of turn 2 with the lead? Parker right there. Grimm went up a little too high. It's going to be Parker the slight advantage. Half car length advantage heading to turn 3.
Jerry Simons in the 66 trying to work his way underneath LJ Grimm as well. LJ holding on to that second position. He's going to feel some heat. Down into turn 1. Jerry Simons on the charge in the 66.
I believe I saw the flagman giving the 18 of Allison the black flag for, I think, after his spin, he went back up in position in the top 5 and should have been restarting at the tail as they were sending him to the pits. Up front, it is Parker leading the way as the black flag continues to wave for Allison. Simons has moved into second. LJ Grimm running in third. Can Simons close the gap? He's been, over the last couple years at the World Series, he was pretty strong last year, but over the last few years has been just a little tick off. Hasn't claimed as many victories as he did back in the day, and he'd like to get back to winning form, and I think he might have the car that could possibly do it. He's running second right now, closing on the number 1 of Parker.
Good 3-car tussle for the top spot. Wayne Parker holding on to that lead. Jerry Simons trying to track him down. 5 laps in the books, 30 to go in the Florida Modified headliner here at New Smyrna. Jerry Simons trying to poke the nose underneath through turns 1 and 2, but Wayne Parker stretching that advantage down the backstretch.
Jared Allison has made the trip into the pits and has come to a stop for going up into his wrong restarting position after spinning down in turns 1 and 2. Now, Simons was quicker than the 1 of Parker for a couple of laps, and then he kind of missed turn 2 a little bit, but he's recovered. He's coming back. He's closing the gap again up front behind the 1 of Wayne Parker as we complete lap number 7 at the line.
Talk about a couple of drivers that could probably drive around this racetrack blindfolded if they had to. These drivers have a lot of laps here, and they have a lot of laps in this particular formation. They have gone to battle for feature victories here so many times over the years, and right now Jerry Simons trying to put some pressure on, but that battle going to come to a temporary halt as the caution flag coming out one more time.
So yellow waving, slowing the field. That is not what Wayne Parker really wanted to see, because now he will have to start alongside the 66 of Simons for the next restart. Just 7 laps in, 28 laps to go. And the race has had a few cautions here in the early going. We don't see anything necessarily around the racetrack that would have brought out the yellow, but the 16 of Brian Gayton was pretty far behind the field, so he may have had some issues and then got rolling again. Also, as we roll under this yellow flag, the 15 of Matthew Green has gone to pit road. Jared Allison rolling out of his pit stall, heading, we'll see if he heads back to the track or into the infield. He's going into the infield.
You know, Adam, we do have a moment here under this caution flag. Why don't we take a look at the previous incident that put us under the caution flag? You talked about that restart with all of that action down into turn one. Let's see if we can cue that up and see what happened. Keep an eye on that second row. I think that's where that action is all going to take place. Wow, right there, wham. Looks like Tim Moore coming together with Jerry Simons. Jerry making a great save right there. Wow.
I feel like he was ready for it, only because he's restarted how many races going into turn one on the outside lane?
You know, if this was an ARCA Menard Series East or West race, I would nominate that for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. That was an incredible, incredible save right there by Jerry Simons. Oh, look at this. What's going on down here? Wayne Parker, your leader, coming to a stop at the top of turns 1 and 2.
Taking the steering wheel off and everything down there. Bad break for Wayne Parker.
He may be calling it a night. Helmet is off.
So Wayne Parker, race leader, has come to a stop under yellow up against the outside retaining wall with 28 laps to go, and looked to be the early favorite. Has had Jerry Simons in second, but Simons was never able to mount a serious challenge over the short number of laps. They were running first and second. It's going to, looks like both front wheels pointing in the right direction. I'm guessing something in the drivetrain going awry on Wayne Parker's 1W. Mount Dora, Florida driver. Longtime restaurant owner.
That's right.
Probably make a mean burger, I would guess.
You know, I haven't had dinner yet.
I did. I had a salad for dinner, but I'm hungry. I could eat a burger right now.
We may make a run after. You know, maybe Jerry can give us, or Wayne can give us some recommendations once we get the final checkered flag here tonight.
Well, hopefully nothing major in this one car, because he has been a threat for a number of victories over the last, again, 5 seasons or so. First win in the World Series came in 2018, and he's been able to pick up 11. It's quite a few over the last 5 years or so. But Wayne Parker getting the push back to pit road, so I would guess something in the engine, rear end, or transmission is probably the issue on the number 1 of Parker. We're going to take a quick timeout as Parker goes back to the pits. Be back with a final 28 laps of this one for the Florida Mods, the World Series. Seven laps down, which has been the case for a little bit of time. And go figure that the race that has 7 cars left maybe, but 9 cars started this race, might be the one that comes real close to the time limit tonight, Charlie. I don't know.
7 laps in the books. 12, make it 13 minutes have elapsed. This could be it. This could be the one where we get the first time limited race. We'll see. Maybe we'll run the next 28 laps consecutively. We could do it.
I
right?
think we could do it.
Yeah, we could do it.
I think we could do it with the 7 we have remaining on track. The lights are out. We're coming back to green. The leader is now Jerry Simons with Wayne Parker eliminated from action. They take a look underneath the right side of that race car, so maybe something in the rear end. As we're coming back to green, turn 4. Jerry Simons doesn't get the best start. This one's going to get called back too.
You know, when the field passes underneath the flag stand and the flagman is shaking his head, that's not a good sign.
So the yellow is out, and the field again slows. I think we'll see the white this time, and then we'll see it green again. Yeah, the Florida Modified drivers, they know how important these restarts are. And they're trying to get the jump, and L.J. Grimm wanted to be out front, out in front of the 66 of Jerry Simons. Well, he succeeded. Unfortunately, he succeeded too well, too early, down in turn 4, so he's going to get a chance to try it again. The leader officially, Jerry Simons, should be the one kind of firing first down there. Need a nice even start down in the 4th corner. Field can gradually pick up the pace, starting over in the middle of 3 and 4. Coming back to the green again. Bomber A's are lined up in the infield. They're getting ready for their 20-lap feature. It's next. There's a good restart down in turn 4. Jerry Simons hits the go button. He's out front as the leader. L.J. Grimm will drop into line. Timmy Moore in the 57 runs 3rd. And there's Green in the 15 in the 4 spot.
Jerry Simons looking for his 49th career World Series victory, and he is doing it from a position of power so far here tonight. Leading across the complete lap, number 8, L.J. Grimm holding on to the 2nd position. Timmy Moore with a good run going in that beautiful black and green number 57. His former ride, driven by Matthew Green, slotted back into 4th. Here comes Jerry Simons off of turn 4, stretching out that advantage now over L.J. Grimm in 2nd.
9 laps in the books, and Jerry Simons is pulling away, looking for his 49th World Series victory. 6 titles in the World Series, and has also finished 2nd 7 times. And of course, was the track champion in 2023. 1 season ago here at New Smyrna Speedway, where he's claimed so many championships at his hometown track over the years. And right now, it's like the Jerry Simons of old. His form that he has shown many years. But a long way to go. Just 11 down at the line. 26 laps from the finish. That was bad math. 24 laps from the finish. Let's not add laps to this one now.
We get paid to talk, not do math.
That's right.
You know, that's my excuse every time.
3rd place battle going on. The 57 of Timmy Moore and the 15 of Matthew Green. Nose to tail. 3rd and 4th up for grabs. Just behind them, not too far back. 35 of Eugene Tuminello as he watches on in this battle for 3rd. It's Green a little bit quicker. We've seen Green in a number of classes here, namely the Sportsman division over the last few years. Right now running in 4th behind the veteran modified driver Timmy Moore. Florida Modifieds again tomorrow night off, but then race Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for their 6 nights of action during the 58th running of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. 3rd and 4th. So what we're watching, closest battle on the racetrack as they lose ground to the top 2. Timmy Moore up the track in turns 1 and 2. Green not able to pounce. Moore actually drove this yellow and red 15 for a number of years here at the World Series. Used to drive his black and green 57, then he drove the 15 for a few years for the Deal Racing stable. And then back behind the wheel of that black and green number 57 again this year.
Great battle for position. Let's see if Matthew Green is able to get up there and maybe use that Nerf bar, the old chrome horn, to move Timmy Moore up the racetrack and take over that 3rd spot. Moore making that middle lane work really well down in turns 1 and 2. Let's see where he goes here down in turns 3 and 4. And he is going to drift up the racetrack maybe a little bit. I thought Matthew was going to give him a shot right there, but
well, he had the opportunity, and he's right there looking to pounce, looking for that opening. The opening is somewhat given in turn 2 this time. Green can't quite get there to pull alongside, so 57 and Moore hangs on. Halfway this time. 18 laps down, 17 laps to go. Your race leader, Jerry Simons. L.J. Grimm is closing that gap, however. Grimm has cut it down to 3 car lengths, make it 4 on the backstretch. 3rd and 4th, that battle heating up as well. This might be the longest green flag run, well, it is, of this race so far. And you can see, I think, the 72's coming around, the 66 maybe coming back to him, much like the 57 of Moore and the 15 car of Green.
These cars have way more power than tire to begin with. And as you go into a green flag run, those tires start to heat up a little bit. And maybe that's what's happening with Jerry Simons. He may have put a little too much heat in those narrow tires. Not a lot of grip to begin with. And when you build a little heat, car starts to get a little skatey on you. And right now I think that's what Jerry Simons is fighting, as we see some smoke and some sparks off of that 66. That's going to open the door for LJ Grimm. Grimm going to take the lead. Keep an eye on the 66.
Simons definitely has some major issues coming up on his number 66 ride right now. Simons off the pace, still trying to stay out there and run, but he's got a handful in the corners. Maybe something underneath the rear end braking. Definitely a lot of smoke, some sparks as well. So something is moving around on that race car. And down in turn 1 and 2. Nearly put it in the wall.
Another sweet move, save right there. You know what? That looks like a Panhard bar has broken that entire rear end loose underneath the 66. So a tough break for Jerry Simons.
When I saw the sparks and I was going through the corners, I thought it was something underneath the rear end coming apart. And that's exactly the case for Jerry Simons, who had what looked to be maybe a win on night number 1 on his way, but bad luck creeps up and takes the 66 out of contention tonight for the new Smyrna Beach driver, and LJ Grimm now sitting in a pretty good spot.
So 12 laps remaining and 9.5 minutes remaining on the elapsed time clock. Again, a 30-minute time limit in place for these 35-lap feature events. There's our man Scotty Ponder pulling up in the unique safety vehicle here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Which gives us a chance to regroup for the final 13 laps. I mathed better that time. 22 down, 13 laps to go in this 35-lapper for the Florida Mods Bomber A's. Don't forget, we got that 20-lapper coming up as well. Back with more on Flow. Working on towing the 66 of Jerry Simons back to the pits. 13 laps to go. The one-time leader of this race, many-time champion of the World Series, eliminated with mechanical issues here on night 1. I have a feeling, though, 9 nights from now, we'll still be talking about Jerry Simons being in contention for the World Series Modified Championship.
May even broach that 50-win mark. He's got 48 career wins. I think he might be in position to claim a couple of checker flags here this week. And I'll tell you what, Adam, we've seen it a couple of times tonight. Being in the lead in this race, not the place to be. Let's set it on down to pit road and hear from Jesse Punch, who's going to update us on what happened to our leader earlier tonight, Wayne Parker. Jesse?
Gentlemen, you guys mentioned bad luck being the reason we're seeing this caution out here for Jerry Simons. Well, the caution before this, we saw our leader, Wayne Parker, unexpectedly head into the wall in turn 1. And when I talked to him, he said the same thing. Bad luck. He told me his race car is from the late 90s, 1996 to be exact, and they broke an axle cap. A very unexpected malfunction. Nothing they can't fix, but this team is really hoping for some better luck next race.
Rear end issues, axle recap on the 1 of Wayne Parker. Panhard Bar on the 66 of Simons. A lot of rear end issues tonight, Charlie.
That's a tough way to end the night, and not something you would normally expect to see break, particularly on a car prepared by veteran teams like Jerry Simons and Wayne Parker. But a tough break here tonight as we've come back to the choose. LJ Grimm to the outside. Timmy Moore to the inside, coming back to green with 13 laps remaining. LJ Grimm with the jump on the restart and the battle on now for second.
Green makes a run to the outside of Moore for second. Thought it was going to get a little tight coming off of turn 2. It did single out, and now Green drops it back down to the inside lane. As the cars race off of turn 4, there's a spin in turn 3. And still green so far to this point, but now the yellow flag will wave and slow the pace as the field slows in turn 2. It's for the 16 of Brian Gayton, who's had a tough night keeping that car underneath him.
That's at least the second time we have seen that car sideways this evening, and that puts us under the caution. And you know, Adam, that clock keeps on ticking. We are coming up on the 25-minute mark. Trying to do some math in my head, which I already told you I'm not good at, but I don't know that we have enough available time versus the amount of laps we have yet to run here. So we could indeed see our first time shortened event.
And again, the way this will work, if they're under green, it doesn't matter if the time runs out. So let's say they get to lap 28 and the time runs out. As long as they stay green and they finish the race, no issue. They'll finish all 35 laps. If they get a yellow after the time has already gone out, or if the time goes out under that yellow, they will still have at least one. They'll still have one more restart, and it will be for the length of the race or until the next flag waves. And if it's a yellow, it will end the race at that point.
White flag has been given. So again, LJ Grimm lining up on the outside. Tim Moore to the inside. Second row will be Matthew Green, scored in third. He will line up to the outside alongside Eugene Tuminello Jr. in the number 35. Dylan Williams and Brian Gayton back in row 3. Those are the 6 cars remaining on the racetrack for the final 12 laps. 12 laps remaining here in the Florida Modified 35 lapper. Coming back to green. LJ Grimm on the button. He's going to get the jump.
Grimm leads the field into turn 1. I think by far the fastest car still left on the track. The battle for second in turn 2. Sideways and checking up is Matthew Green. He'll hang on to third. Moore holding on to second. Running back there in the 4 spot, Tuminello. 11 left as they cross the line that time. Going to be coming back to 10 to go. Second place up for grabs. 3-car battle now. Second, third, and fourth. And Tuminello made a great move there, checking up to avoid contact with a 15 of Green. Green didn't know he had a driver to the outside. Nearly closed the door and would have been a huge crash for those two competitors.
Great job by Eugene Tuminello right there to avoid that contact in what could have potentially have been a disastrous incident down the backstretch. And I was just thinking, Eugene has had a nice, quiet, solid night. And boy, he almost got wadded up in someone else's issue right there. But again, Eugene Tuminello having a good, solid run here on opening night in that number 35.
I think he's got the second best car on the racetrack right now. If he gets the opening, he'll be able to take advantage. He's running there in fourth, still has 8 laps to go as they cross this time. He's kind of wanting to move to the outside of Green for the third spot, but it's a dangerous position to do. We saw it almost turn into disaster a few laps ago, but he's rotating the corners extremely well in that 35 car. Going to be 7 to go this time for the leader. LJ Grimm has a big lead built up. The driver from Sefner, Florida, looking for his first World Series feature win in a modified.
And no surprise, he has stretched that advantage. He had broken away with Jerry Simons. They had opened up more than a straightaway advantage over this battle for what is now second, third, and fourth. So LJ Grimm picking up where he left off, stretching out that lead in the number 72 as we now have 6 laps remaining.
What I'm seeing from the 35 of Tuminello is his car is very fast through the turn, and he'll take third away as the 15 of Matthew Green drops off the pace with mechanical issues. The 15 of Green will be coming to the pits. 5 laps to go. Unfortunate break there for one of the regulars of World Series competition in a couple of different classes, and looks like it's going to be able to make it back to pit road. I was saying Tuminello, very fast through the turns, but definitely down on power compared to the other competitors down the straightaway. Must be running a smaller engine package, just not quite as much horsepower. Pull that 35 car down the straightaways, but very fast through the corners with 4 laps to go.
So the top 3 cars not in contact with one another, but we are going to keep a close eye on LJ Grimm. We have seen it numerous times so far tonight. The driver at the front of the field in this race has dropped out. LJ Grimm now 3 laps to go, 3 more times around before he can park it down in victory lane. He is going to hear every sound inside of that car, every noise that thing makes, every shudder, every shake. He is going to be feeling it here over the course of the next 2.5 laps.
2 laps to go for LJ Grimm. Straightaway lead, second and third. That's tightening up a little bit with Timmy Moore having a solid first night. Car hasn't been perfect, but he's been able to stay up in the top 3 for much of this race. Tuminello has closed the gap down to a few car lengths, but loses ground on the straightaway. 1 final lap to go for LJ Grimm.
And he has more than a half straightaway advantage over Tim Moore in second. Moore with a 2-car length lead over Eugene Tuminello Jr., but working his way off of turn 4, LJ Grimm looking at the checkered flag. He's going to pick up the win opening night. Florida Modified 35-lap feature event.
4 races now down on our first night with 1 yet to go. Be for the Bomber A's.
And how about that? 30 minutes, 14 seconds, the elapsed time of that feature event. They pushed it, man. They pushed it.
Made it pretty tight, that's for sure. But LJ Grimm had a good race car. Fast in practice yesterday. Looked good today. Maybe not the fastest. I think that could have been Wayne Parker and Jerry Simons for part of this race. But he was in the right spot. Car made it all 35 laps without having a mechanical issue. Had the luck on his side and ends up celebrating victory on night 1 of the World Series. So he goes to the New Smyrna Speedway victory lane for the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series. And we'll celebrate here tonight with a great start, a first of 6 nights of racing for the Florida Mods. Off tomorrow night, as the NASCAR Wheel of Modified Tour will be here. But he'll be back on Sunday night, trying to look to go 2 for 2 to start his week. Beautiful race car, Charlie. And driver is climbing out to celebrate. There's LJ Grimm down to Jesse Punch.
Your Florida Modified winner here on night 1, LJ Grimm. LJ, your first win here in the World Series. What does this win mean to you?
Means a lot. Really can't believe it. Just wish my dad was here to see it. Sorry, I was told myself I wasn't going to do this. Gotta thank Travis Rowland. He's put in a ton on this car to get it right. Jimmy Cope built me a hell of a motor. Wayne, Adam, Justin Holt, all my sponsors, C&D Crushing, Maverick Stump Grinding, Lily Air Conditioning, Earthscapes, Feeney Shocks, Rick's Hauling, Williams Trucking, Land Use Trucks, L&L Fire Protection, Jernigan & Sons, and ST Brands. Thank all the fans for coming out tonight.
Congratulations on the win, LJ.
Thank you. Give a shout out to my mom. I know she's watching. And Amanda, Bryson, Taylor, Rylan, and Jade back home watching.
LJ, an emotional victory for him tonight. Lost his father just a few weeks ago.
Definitely an emotional victory and well-deserved there for LJ Grimm. A great start to his World Series week as he claims victory here on this Friday night. Florida Modifieds, a little bit of a tough show tonight with mechanical failures being the main issue they had. The next night will be night 3 coming up on Sunday. Then they're in night 4, night 6, night 7, and night 9. So they've got some time off in between some of those. The big race coming up on night number 7 Thursday night, seeing a 75-lap feature. We've got one more race yet to go, Charlie. It's the one we've been waiting for, the Bomber A's 20 laps coming up next.
I can't wait. This is going to be a hoot.
Final photos being taken in victory lane for LJ Grimm. Lined up right there in front of us on pit road. The front-wheel drive 4-cylinders, the Bomber A's, getting ready to go. They race a couple nights. Tonight and tomorrow night, they're 2 nights of the World Series. The Bomber B's come in next weekend. Those are like the bigger cars, though, like the Crown Vics.
I love both of them. I can't wait. I've been waiting for this race all night long. 20 laps. And you know, we hear some chuckles from the people in the room here with us, but I will tell you what. Go to any short track across the country that runs 4-cylinder cars, front-wheel drive 4-cylinder cars, and inevitably and invariably, it will be one of the best, if not the best race of the night. I cannot wait. And there's a twist in this one, Adam. We've got a breakout rule. Every one of these cars has to run 24-second laps. And if you go quicker than 24 seconds, if you go 23.999 seconds, you're coming down pit road. You have to maintain that lap pace of 24 seconds.
We don't have to maintain a 24-second lap. You just can't go faster than that.
You just can't go quicker.
Let's make it clear. I mean, you know how good you would have to be to do exactly 24 seconds every lap?
Here's why it's difficult. They don't tell you how fast you're going. They only tell you when you have broken the breakout rule. So you don't have a timer in your car to know, hey, I'm right on the limit. And if you do break it, you're coming down pit road. You got to make a pass through down pit road. And if you do it more than 3 times, you're done. So as excited as I am to see this race and as fun as I think it's going to be, I want to see pit road very busy tonight.
Qualifying today, group qualifying earlier, fast qualifier was Ryan Warren. You know how close he got to 24 seconds?
Let's hear it.
24.002.
Nice. I love it.
2 1,000ths of a second.
I love it. So he would have been penalized in qualifying if he had broken out. So that car is tuned up and ready to go. He needs to just, some of these cars are obviously very close to being freshly off the street. He just needs to set the cruise control and go. But no, I can't wait. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup. Joseph Warren and Wade Thorne on the front row. Dustin Higdon and Ryan Warren there in row number 2. Charles Zukowski and Aaron Foy back in row 3. Brandon Gaither and Charles Friddle back in row 4.
Starting in the 9th position from Port Orange, Florida's Eddie Evans in the number 3. Chris Lawrence in the 28, starting in the 10th spot. Jim Snyder of Edgewater, Florida, starting the 55 and 11th. And from Parma, Ohio, Jimmy McKinley in the number 12M.
Fellow Buckeye Stater rounding out the top 12. 20 laps, 15 minutes. 20 laps. And the breakout rule. There's Devin Dorton and Michael Derico, I believe that's how you say that last name. Derico, Michael, in the number 88 car, rounding out our 14-car starting grid.
20 laps, the distance, 15 minutes if we have the breakout. A couple of those drivers there at the tail of the field, I don't believe we're here for qualifying.
A couple of late ads to this field.
Getting the 2 to go signal, the field doubling up. So not only will we be keeping an eye on the race on the track for the lead and throughout the field. Stopwatch out, listening right now.
24 laps, the target lap time. You can go 24.000. You cannot go 23.999. That will result in a penalty. And we will come to the 1 to go this time around. Still a group of hardy fans in the stands here to check out the final race of night number 1. Race 5 of 40 for the week here at the World Series of Asphalt. Great night of racing, and I'll tell you what, Adam, I am pumped for super late model racing here the rest of the week. What a thrilling opening night super late model feature event we had. Gio Ruggiero picking up the victory there. And I think we're going to put an exclamation point on it with a thrilling 20-lap Bomber A feature event coming up here. Pace car pulling away from the field. Joseph Warren and Wade Thorne up on the front row. Dustin Higdon and Ryan Warren back there in row 2.
Warren was the top qualifier in the 08, starting in the 4th position. He was the one that turned the 24.002.
Wow.
Earlier in group qualifying, field picking up the pace, coming to green, turn 4 underway for the Blackjack seal coating Bomber A's at New Smyrna Speedway.
And we are going to stack them 3 wide into turn 1 on the opening lap. Let's see what shakes out.
We got him double wide. It's the 14 with a slight advantage. Dustin Higdon down the backstretch now loses the advantage that he did have. They head into the 3rd corner. Good racing action up front. Nose to tail, most of the field staying in the lead pack. Completion of lap number 1 at the line. It's the 28 of Wade Thorne at the front of the field.
Thundering through turns 1 and 2 like an angry swarm of bumblebees down the backstretch. The Bomber A's attack turns 3 and 4. Wade Thorne with the lead. He's trying to stretch out that advantage, but again, got to keep it underneath. 24 laps. How about that? Wade Thorne, 24.083. Right on that number, the leader in the number 28 car.
I think we're going to see some cars coming down pit road, and it could be Thorne after this lap because he's just put a little more distance between himself and the 2nd place car of Joseph Warren. What will he clock in this time at the line? Thorne across the stripe. 23, 903, broke the 24.
He's coming down pit road. Your leader, Wade Thorne, will have to make a pass-through penalty, and they have 2 laps to make that pass-through. Wade Thorne, he's going to stay on the racetrack this time, meaning next time he's going to have to come on down pit road.
He gets the point from the flagman, Jason Caranci, right there. So he drops low, and the battle now for the lead. Side-by-side action. Higdon in the 14. Warren in the 15. Thorne getting ready to head to the pits. So this has really stacked the field up from 1st to 10th.
Wade Thorne getting the black flag for the 2nd time. So that is his 2nd warning. He will have to come down pit road this time. Everybody else back in the 24.1 to 24.4 second bracket in that big pack of cars. So they're not in imminent danger of breaking out of the 24-second bracket. But let's see what happens here. Working off of turn 4. Dustin Higdon with the lead. And you know, it's interesting because we saw it right there. They're rolling out of the gas as they come to the start-finish line, not wanting to break out of that 24-second bracket.
And that should not only help them for that lap, but it should help them for the upcoming lap, too, slowing down right at the finish line. But it really stacks up the field. You got to be careful because you're going to get run into at some point or another. Still leading the way, Dustin Higdon in the 14, side by side. Right behind him, the 31 of Zukowski and the 14K of Gaither has joined the battle. It's really about 8 cars that could win this race at this point. Closing on the halfway mark. It'll be 8 laps in and 12 to go the next time they cross the stripe.
Let's keep an eye on the clock this time around. Dustin Higdon. He is going to face a challenge from, I believe that is the 14 of Brandon Gaither to the inside. Let's see. Again, the field rolling out of the gas as they come across the start-finish line. Everybody in the 24.6 range that time around.
Higdon out front leading, has built up his lead heading into turn 3, 2 and 3 wide behind him. It's going to be 9 and 11 to go this time for the Bomber A's. And boy, we've had some drivers close. Thorne's been the one that's got caught. He's been to the pits and come back out, but that has put him in a bad spot right now. That time at the stripe, Charlie, anybody get close? Not really.
Dustin Higdon 24.3, so he had a pretty good sizable buffer right there. But again, seeing these drivers roll out of the gas between turn 4 and the start-finish line just to ensure they don't break out.
Halfway this time, 10 laps in, 10 laps to go. Our final race on night 1 of the World Series. Ooh, a 24-0 for Brandon Gaither in second. He was close, a 24-0-8-0 that time at the line. No drivers in the 23s. So the action continues to go at the front of the field. Dustin Higdon leading the way in the 14, but there's all the action in our top 10.
Tell you what, this race is exactly what I was looking for. Great way to put the exclamation point on opening night. 24.1 for Dustin Higdon that time around. But look at that.
Eddie Evans has gone under in the 3.
He was in 4th. He is going to have to come on down pit road.
7 of Aaron Foy also goes under his time. So 2 drivers that time going under. They know that the heat is picking up. And trying to avoid going under the 24-second bracket. And why do they do this? It keeps the competition close, and you don't have to spend a ton of money on your race car.
And it's a lot of fun to watch, man. I'm having a blast calling this race. What a hoot. Dustin Higdon, 24.4 that time around. He has got a comfortable advantage over that group running directly behind. We're going to see the 3 car, Eddie Evans, make his way down, serve his penalty. He's going to drop out of the top 5. There's the number 7, Aaron Foy, receiving his first black flag warning. Don't see anybody in that group who has fallen beneath the 24-second barrier. And again, bunching them up at the front of the field. Let's see what happens off of turn 4 this time.
Charles Zukowski last time at a 24.005. He was extremely close.
That is so close.
7 of Foy still being black flagged as he came across that time. He'll need to get to the pits. As leading the way is Dustin Higdon. Higdon out front, Brandon Gaither running second, Joseph Warren third, Zukowski fourth.
Ryan Warren, our quick timer, still dialed in, 24.084, 84 thousandths of a second off of the breakout time. Ooh, good evasive move right there is again rolling out of the gas.
I'm telling you,
start finish.
We've had some cutting it real close. Nice move by the 31 of Zukowski down in turn 1 and 2. We watch him go down the backstretch. Zukowski holding on to third. Leading the way is Higdon. Gaither running second. Gaither turning up the heat a little bit for the lead.
Coming off of turn 4. 4 to go this time around. Higdon continuing to hold the lead. And you know, we're getting to that point of the race, Adam, where we're going to be talking about what happens on the last lap and what happens if you break out on the last lap.
It's the 15 of Warren in second right now, making his run at Higdon. Going to be 3 laps to go. It's a 5-car battle for the lead. They're beating and banging on the front straightaway. Look out.
Some slip and slide, dip and dive down the front straightaway here as Dustin Higdon continuing to block both of the lanes.
Interesting strategy. They check up right at the finish line to avoid going under, and when they do, it helps them slow down for both laps.
And everybody scatters when that happens. Just absolutely phenomenal. 2 to go this time around.
Everybody looks safe that lap. 24.2 was the best that I see, and that was from the leader, Dustin Higdon, but he might not be the leader for long. Joseph Warren has gotten to the outside. Warren side by side, yes, for the race lead in 3. Gaither's closed the gap in the red 14. Zukowski's there as well, and the white flag will wave. Will anybody go under this lap?
Oh, it's go time. Final time around. Everybody comfortably above that 24-second bracket. Let's see what happens here on the final lap. We've got a lead change. Joseph Warren to the top of the chart. Here comes the battle. We're going to stack them 2 and 3 wide. We've got contact into turn 3.
Zukowski up the track, hard hit in the outside wall.
Coming to the checkered.
And it's going to be Warren crossing the line as the winner. Gaither in second. Wild finish. Pretty heavy damage to the 08 car of Ryan Warren, the top qualifiers. That one got the right front pretty hard. So he had nowhere to go. I think it was Zukowski who was turned around at the time.
Wow. That was fun. I hate to see those cars get tore up on the final lap, but that was fun.
Tomorrow night, the super lates can't go under a 22nd.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll see him checking up through turns 3 and 4 and all the way down the straightaway.
At the finish line. Every lap.
That would be fantastic.
It was fun. Joseph Warren claims the win. The last lap claiming a couple of cars. The 31 of Zukowski and the 08 of Warren. Hopefully both will be fixable for tomorrow night, their second and final night of the World Series, as Joseph Warren celebrates in victory lane. Might have only led one lap right there,
That was it.
It was the last lap.
Took the lead in the middle of turns 1 and 2 and led the rest of the way home.
So Warren will celebrate down in victory lane. Jesse Punch is down there with him.
Sorry, it's been a long time coming.
Joseph Warren, an exciting Joseph Warren down here in victory lane, taking the lead there on the final lap. Take me back to that pass for the lead.
I saw an opening. Dustin braked too hard for that 24-second rule. I knew I didn't have to lift. Sent it into one deep and just made the move stick. Looked in my mirror. I don't know what happened with Dustin and the 31 there. But, I mean, I've been coming here since 2020. I almost won it back in 2020. Had a late race caution that took the win from me. My boy in 31, he took down the win here last year. And I took down the win tonight. And I told my brother if I won tonight, he's going to run it tomorrow. So there'll be another Ryan Warren running the car tomorrow.
Congratulations on the win tonight, Joseph.
Thank you. I got to thank Uncle Marky, Aunt Mary, Dirty Deeds. I got to thank CJ, my dad, Big Charlie, TJ, my brother Ryan, my mom, my sister, Justin. They're all home watching. I got to thank MK, Jess, Sarah, Sam, Nicole, Will, everybody that comes out and puts this thing together and make this stuff happen. Thank you.
It takes a village, and tonight that village put you in victory lane. Congratulations, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joseph Warren, your winner here in the Bomber A division, finally getting that win after competing here for many years.
I think he missed somebody in that, didn't he?
I thought he got everybody in Central Florida right there. I think he had us all covered.
It's from the Northeast. He's from Ridge, New York.
Yeah, that was
one of the drivers from the Northeast did very, very well tonight.
But I will tell you, he had him covered. Let's take a look at what happened going down the backstretch, Adam. And that was some seriously intense racing going down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. And again, watch coming off at turn 4. They're going to all kind of check up here at start finish to prevent from breaking out. And then once they come off at turn 2, all heck breaks loose.
They're checking up going into the corner. There's the leader for a long time in this race, the 14 of Higdon. Running in second, goes to the outside. Look out. We start to run out of room here. That's where Zukowski tried to make that 3-wide move and just ran out of room.
And looks like he and Higdon came together and went right back up the racetrack. And Ryan had nowhere to go right there. Ryan Warren in the 08 car, our fast qualifier tonight, had nowhere to go, and he bounced off the fence pretty hard there.
So there is Joseph Warren celebrating in victory lane. Had that little New York accent going
That's
on
right.
a little bit during that interview, and very happy, elated to find victory lane. Tomorrow night, who's going to win it? I don't think we can even place our bets because that 24-second rule makes it kind of interesting.
What a fun race. Wow, what a great way to end the first night here.
So that does wrap up our first night of the scheduled 9 nights of action. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour coming to town tomorrow. What an event that will be. Join us for another night of action here on FloRacing. Charlie and I will be here. Joe Koss, Ben Dodge joining us as well. Thanks to everyone. Jesse Punch down on pit road tonight for her insight and interviews. And we're going to do it all again for night 2 of the scheduled 9 nights. There they are. Tomorrow night, seeing the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the Pro Late Models, the Sportsman, and the Bomber A's. Super Late Models have tomorrow night off. They'll be back on Sunday, along with the Florida Mods, Pro Late, 602s, and the E-Mods on Sunday night. But that's the list of the rest of the evenings that we have for you right here on FloRacing.
And I have got that February 13th date circled. I've had it circled for a while. Coming up, the ASA Stars National Tour. There's going to be a last chance qualifier. The Clyde Hart Memorial,
looks
200.
Looks like about 50 entries right now.
Unbelievable.
Might be closer to 55.
I can't wait. And Tour Type Modifieds as the nightcap for that one. That is going to be a great night of racing. And then you move to Valentine's Day on Wednesday. Pro Late Models, Florida Modifieds, 602 mods. I can't wait to get the 602s here. Super Late Models, and again, one of those traditional big events for the Tour Type Modifieds, the John Blewett III Memorial. 76 laps coming up for the Tour Type mods on Wednesday.
Some of the other highlights, the Richie Evans Memorial 100 on Friday night and the Orange Blossom 100 for the Super Late Models on Saturday. That's a look at the rest of the week. The event schedule, of course, you can follow along newsmyrnaspeedway.org for the full schedule of events for the rest of the week. Big thanks for everyone checking it out for night 1. Continue to bring you coverage over the next 8 nights for all 9 nights of the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing. So long from New Smyrna.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.